Welcome to Saturday night. Welcome to 9:30 a.m. The Answer, and welcome to Get Your Geek On. I am Dave Gramillion. This is powered by Southtown Games on Pleasanton Road near Loop 410 on the south side of San Antonio, where your gaming family wants to welcome you. Here we will talk Star Wars, Star Trek, DC, Marvel, video gaming, really all things geek that have dominated this little world of ours. You see, geek is not what it was 20 or 30 years ago. Geek is in. Geek is very in. Geek is now the mainstream, and we are here to talk the latest and greatest that is geek right here on 9:30 a.m. The Answer Talk Radio and 9:30 a.m. TheAnswer.com. This is Season 2, Episode number 5. And tonight we have a special guest with us here in studio. Billy from Southtown Games will be joining us to talk about Magic the Gathering. There is a new set out, and we will be talking about that. And we'll have ourselves a little giveaway as well. Also, Star Trek is going to have a 30th anniversary here for The Next Generation. And I want to ask the question, is it the greatest series of all time? As far as Star Trek goes, I don't want to compare it to Buffy or Doctor Who or anything like that because, well, that's just silly. And we don't do silly here. At least not what I'm... Okay. So is it the greatest Star Trek in the franchise? That's the big question we want to ask. We have a quick recap we want to get to as far as... I mean, there are so many companies that are doing business with us now. I want to make sure that everybody's aware of where you can go to save money and where you can go to kind of help the show out as well. We also want to welcome in some Marvel news. Spider-Man Homecoming is officially ripping apart the box office. And if you remember last week, we had ourselves just a little, it wasn't really a wager, I'd say, but a prediction as far as where this would land. Where in its opening weekend would it land? That's the big question. And time permitting, we will see if we're trying to get Marina Sirtis to call into the show. We're hopeful that she will join us as well. Marina Sirtis, who played Counselor Deanna Troi on Star Trek The Next Generation. Hopefully will be calling into studio here to talk to us at the bottom half of the hour. All right, so with that being said, I want to go through my checklist. I want to make sure that I have everything I need in order to run the premier talk radio show for geeks in the United States. Not a podcast, although we have one of those. Not a YouTube vlog, although we have one of those as well. But this is terrestrial talk radio. Same airwaves that has Rush Limbaugh, Jim Rome, Mike and Mike in the morning, and so on. Also has geeky talk for you. So the first thing I want to check is, do I have something to drink? Because if you're going to talk for close to an hour, it's 52 minutes and 20 seconds. Throat gets a little dry. I want to make sure I have something to drink. Also, it seems silly. I know, but I have a back scratcher, and I love having this thing because, you know what? Sometimes there's that one spot in the middle of your back, and you can't reach it. Everybody has that one spot, and it's embarrassing to try to, scratch it when you have a guest in the studio. So, back scratcher. Get one. Trust me. Also, I want to make sure that I have my sonic screwdriver as well. And, of course, what show for geeks would be complete if you didn't have a lightsaber? I have a battery problem. No! Oh, that's terrible.
That's not good. That is not good.
No, that's not even... I'm pressing the button, you Hasbro. Bill.
Is it Hasbro? Is it really Hasbro?
It really is Hasbro. All right, well, I guess you'll take my word for it. If you're watching our Facebook feed right now, or you're finding us on YouTube, you can see I have my lightsaber.
So that must be like a Michael Bay Hasbro product.
It has to be. I mean, I've had this thing for about 4 or 5 years now, and this is not like a Saber Forge or an Ultra Saber. I mean, it's a Hasbro lightsaber, so it's not exactly the...
There we go.
Hey, all right. Now, can I turn it off? That's the big question. Okay.
Well,
that would have been
nothing else. We'll know you have a battery problem later.
Yes, we'll work on that. Okay, all right. So we have everything that we need. We're good to go. Minion, our lovable little volunteer, is actually on a second job right now. We wish him all the best, running security down at the AT&T Center. So he is on assignment and will not be joining us. But on my left, as you look to your right across the radio dial, we do have our sound prognosticator here, and that is Goose.
Hello,
Goose. What are you rocking there? What are you wearing for tonight's show?
I don't have any Star Trek shirts. I know, that's amazing. But I do have my 1980s vehicle shirt. So we've got Rom the Space Knight, Optimus Prime with the Back to the Future license plate, the General Lee, Airwolf, He-Man Power Sword, because why not? We've got the A-Team van and Ecto-1. all together in a Voltron-esque Gestalt character.
There we go. So we're covered. Okay, so
What are you rocking?
I am actually rocking, I've got my Star Wars Rebel Alliance hat going on, and I'm wearing my Affordable Cleric Act t-shirt. So I got that going on.
If you like your deity, you can keep your deity.
Absolutely. It's one of those wonderful little shirts that was coming out during the Cleric Obama administration. So that gets it covered. Alrighty. So with that being said, I think we're ready to go here. Let's go ahead and we will bring on our guest here from Southtown Games on Loop 410 on the south side of San Antonio on Pleasanton Road. You can find Southtown Games. We've been there. I've been there. Minion's been there. Goose, you need to get there.
You need to get there. So because he is here and he is from our good friends at Southtown Games, I think I have a song for him.
Ooh, please do.
I know they're not video games, but we don't have a We Love Tabletops game song.
Well, it'll definitely work. Billy, I want to thank you for coming all the way down here, man. I appreciate it.
Not a problem, not a problem.
Whoop, there we go. Okay. All right, so first question here. You're here to talk about Magic the Gathering. Last month, we had y'all in here to talk about Warhammer 40K. What is Magic the Gathering?
Magic the Gathering is a collectible card game where you can amass your collection either through trades or by buying them from stores or other individuals. The ultimate goal of it is to assemble a winning deck in which you would play against other people, and you try to get your opponent's life total from 20 down to 0 using spells and creatures that are in your deck to beat them down.
So your deck is composed of different various cards of different types?
Yes, different types.
Okay, what are the types?
There's land cards, which are basically it's called mana, and it's your energy. It's what you use to fuel your spells. There are creature types, which are, I guess, summons. It's a creature that stays out in play and you can continue to use over and over again. You have spells that are sorceries, which you can only cast on your turn, and they're pretty much just a one shot and done. You have instant spells, which you can use at any time, and they're just like the sorceries, but they can be even cast during your opponent's turn.
So it's kind of like poker. You draw cards, and then you get to look at them and decide which ones to play.
Yes, in a sense, as long as you have the available mana to play it.
Okay.
Everything, yeah. So your mana base or the lands that you put in your deck very much have an impact on what you can and can't play.
So then you want to have a deck with as much mana as possible.
Not necessarily. There's generally if you go online, they have, depending on your deck, they usually have guidelines and things for that, because you also don't want to have too much of it, because you want to be able to draw the cards that you need.
So give me an example of like what would be a really powerful card.
Well, right now, when Magic first came out, they had produced some cards that were called Moxes and a card called the Black Lotus. These cards are essentially, they do not require anything to cast, and they go straight into play. However, they give you a mana. And that's very important in the game, because most times you can only play one mana per turn. So if you have a card that doesn't cost anything and gives you that, you have the potential to get up to 5 mana in one turn and cast your higher level or higher casting cost spells before your opponent can.
Okay, so it's almost a race to see who can. Okay, do the
pretty
most
much,
damage.
yeah. It's trying to get out your biggest bomb before your opponent can get an answer for it.
Okay, now this game is 20-something years old, to my knowledge.
Yeah, it came out in the 90s.
Yeah. So tell me about this current set. What makes this set different?
Well, Wizards of the Coast has done a great job with their sets. They use every set they come out with new mechanics. The current block is the Amonkhet block. It is Egyptian themed. The new set, Hour of Devastation, doesn't come out until tomorrow. So technically the current set is still Amonkhet. And Amonkhet has 2 new mechanics, which one is Embalm, and the other is... Oh, I can't remember the name of it now. And it's funny because I should know it. It's Exert. That was the other one.
Okay.
Exert is the creature's... it's a creature ability, and basically the creatures have special abilities, and what happens is whenever you exert a creature while it's attacking, or whenever it gives you the instructions to exert, it has other abilities that it does at the cost of you not being able to use it on your next turn.
So how has the game changed over the past 20, 25 years?
pretty much the rule base has changed a lot. They're constantly updating the rules. The cards themselves have changed too. The base sets used to come with white borders around them. Now all the cards are black bordered. They now have foils. When I first started playing, they didn't have those.
So really, it's a stylistic change, but the game itself is still the same.
The core of the game has stayed the same. I mean, there have been some major instances they've gotten rid of some of the rules. They've clarified some of the rules. They made it a lot simpler and easier to understand.
To the best of my knowledge, Magic the Gathering is what really kicked off the CCG craze. So without Magic the Gathering, in my estimation, you wouldn't have Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh! Or any of those games either.
That is correct. Magic is the one that started everything, and it's also the one that's outlasted almost everything. The only other ones that have even held a candle to it are Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh!
Why has it outlasted them? What's the story there?
Well, it was the start. It was the innovator, and I mean they had a formula that was good to begin with. They've stuck with it, and they've actually just improved it as opposed to letting it go. They also have great event support. They give out a lot of promotional cards, and they give out a lot of tournament support in the form of cash prizes or
cash prize. Oh, I'm interested in that. Cash prizes. Ooh.
Yes, they have pro tours and they have
everybody's listening. Just leaned a little closer, like ooh, cash prizes.
Yeah, and they're not small cash prizes. When you go to the bigger tournaments, they're not small cash prizes, and those usually are held regionally. I think they just had one in Vegas, and I mean if you place in the top, I want to say like 100 or so, usually you get about $100-$200.
Wow. Okay.
And that's just in the top like 100. And once you get to the very top of it, you're looking at about 10 to 15,000.
Now, Southtown Games, they routinely have a host of tournaments for a variety of games. But what I love is that y'all do store credit.
We do store credit. What it is basically whatever we take in for the tournaments, we give back out in prizes as store credit, so you can use it for sleeves, other games if you wanted to.
That's so awesome.
Pretty much whatever it is that we have in the store that you need.
All right, now what is going to change? There's a new set coming out, and that's coming out this weekend.
Tomorrow,
in fact, yeah. So what's changing with this new set? Are there any major changes?
Well, it's introducing two newer mechanics. It is introducing Eternalize, and it's introducing Afflict. So Eternalize is an ability that lets you get a creature from your graveyard, and it basically comes back as a zombie. And it has a base power and toughness that's a 4/4, and it stays as a copy of the original creature, so it can make the creature a lot more powerful.
Wow.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty good ability. It tends to be higher end on the cost spectrum. The other one is Afflict, which is a little bit more exciting for me because any creature that has that, whenever it becomes blocked by another creature, it still deals the damage of Afflict, whatever the number the Afflict has.
Even if it's blocked?
Even if it's blocked, yeah.
Okay, well, so let me ask about Magic Magic the Gathering itself. Why do you love playing Magic the Gathering?
I'm a very competitive person, and I've traveled to a lot of tournaments in other cities. I've traveled to a lot of tournaments here locally, and I've fostered a lot of friendships and relationships out of going to these tournaments. The environment itself is very friendly. It can be competitive, but I mean, there's really a niche in this game for everybody, and I've kind of found that. I mean, if I just wanted to play with friends and just have an easy game, we'd play like the Commander format, and it'd be more laid back. If we wanted to be more serious, we do the modern format, and I mean, I guess that diversity is what's kind of kept me in it. And with Wizards has done a great job as far as re-innovating every set.
One of the things that I love about playing Magic, of course, I haven't played for a long time, but I played it all the time in high school. It was the variety. You could have a red deck, you have a black deck, you have a white deck, you can have a green deck. You can mix, you can match, and of course your opponent can do the same.
Was the green deck made on recycled paper?
It was the 90s. We didn't recycle anything in the 90s except bad jokes.
That is very true. You have all the different colors that you can use. And the other thing that I like about it too, though, is that pretty much it's just you against your opponent, and you have a limited set of resources in your hand, and you have to come up with answers to whatever they've played or they come out with.
And of course, hoping, okay, please tell me my card's coming up. I really need this card now, anytime now.
That's a very big part of it.
Now, what does Southtown Games do to support Magic the Gathering? What tournaments y'all have going on?
Well, we have on Monday coming up. We actually have a league that's starting up. It's going to be a dual commander league. It goes from 6 to 8 on Mondays. We also have a Magic tournament that's on Monday nights. It's a modern tournament. It starts at about 7:30. We also participate in the Friday Night Magic events. Every Friday night we have a modern tournament, and that's one of the bigger ones for store credit. We usually give out the F&M promo card, as well as, prizes to the winners.
And that's down there at 3719 Pleasanton Road on the south side of San Antonio. So what do we have here? We're actually giving away a Magic the Gathering set. What do we have here for the people?
Well, unfortunately, I couldn't bring Hour of Devastation because it doesn't get released until tomorrow.
Boo.
Yes, and WotC would have slapped my wrist hard had I done it. So
we won't ship it out till Monday. It's fine.
Well, let's not get him in trouble, Goose. Come on.
But we have a Gideon Planeswalker deck, as well as a pack of Dragon Shield cards and a Gideon deck box that we're going to give away as a set.
So we have the set, we have a box for the set, and we have 100 sleeves to protect the set.
Yes.
Very nice.
Now, what we're going to do is this show is pre-recorded on Thursday. So for those of y'all listening to us on the radio on Saturday, sorry y'all aren't eligible. Yeah. Or do we want to make them eligible?
Yes, we want to make them eligible.
We can do it. Yeah, we can do. Okay, well, here's what we'll do. We're going to reach into the future. Here we go. I will make a post on Thursday night, Friday night.
No, let's do it Sunday.
We do it Sunday? Sunday post. So we'll do a post on Sunday and share it, and we will decide. We'll do a random number generator on the number of shares, and we will award it out to somebody who has shared that post around.
There you go.
There we go. All right. So, Billy, I want to thank you for taking the time out to come in here tonight. This is Southtown Games, 3719 Pleasanton Road on the south side of San Antonio near Loop 410 on the south side there. I've been there myself. One of the things that I love about Southtown is how knowledgeable the staff is there, how the managers really know their games.
We try to keep people that are generally informed about the games that we have, because it's always nice to be able to have questions answered when you have them. And it doesn't matter about what game. I mean, if we don't know it, we'll try and find somebody who does and get you in touch with them.
That's awesome.
So did either one of y'all play the Star Trek collectible card game when it was out?
No.
I had quite a collection of cards from the Next Gen and Deep Space Nine and all of that stuff.
I did too.
Yeah.
And then it tanked.
I had boxes of cards, boxes upon boxes.
just like the Star Wars one.
Yeah.
My younger brother had binders of Pokemon cards.
Well,
I mean, just binders full.
I had Highlander. I don't know if you guys even knew that.
I never played the Highlander CCG.
I didn't even know if you guys knew that one existed.
I didn't know that one existed.
Yeah, it's a very, very rare one. Can I just we have a big tournament actually coming up.
Promote it.
Let's hear about it.
Well, at Southtown, we're going to have a Mox tournament, which is one of those rare cards I was telling you about that's super powerful. That's going to be going on Saturday. The sign-ins start at 10 a.m.
So that would be Saturday, July 15th?
Yes.
Okay, so unfortunately those who are listening on Saturday night, sorry, it's already happened. But for those of you who are on Facebook...
You should be following us on Facebook too, by the way.
Follow us on Facebook so that way you know, because sometimes we have guests that have time-sensitive stuff. But the tournament's going on Saturday, July 15th, beginning at what time?
The sign-ins start at 10. The event actually begins at 11 a.m. We're also, that same day, we're going to do a Underground Sea draft, and that one starts at 2 p.m. and it goes hopefully until 8.
And of course, everybody wants to know, what's the top prize?
Well, the top prize is going to be a Mox for the modern event.
Okay.
For the draft, it's going to be the Underground Sea.
Very cool. So
I know I'm going to be out of town. Maybe we can get a winner and announce that after the show airs on Saturday.
I like that.
So just get Dave the information. We'll make a post on it after the show airs Saturday night, and that way everybody can celebrate along with them.
Not a problem.
Sounds good to me. All right, well, let's get into a little video game news here. We only have a few minutes left anyway before we have to break for the bottom of the hour news hour. But let me talk a little bit about some video game news as well. I don't know if you follow esports at all, Billy.
Not for a while. I used to.
Okay, well, you may want to get back into it now because Dota, the Defense of the Ancients, Dota 2, they had a prize pool. There's still about 30 days left in the season, but their prize pool broke their own record.
Whoa.
Now, last year they set the record of around $20 million for the prize pool, and this year they hit $21 million. And a lot of their prize pool comes from crowdfunding, so people can still keep chipping into the prize pool to make it even bigger than it has been before. Now, if you want to compare this to something, I guess you could call it real world sports, the prize pool for the Masters, which comes out every April. Mm-hmm. Their prize pool this year was $11 million.
Whoa. That's quite a bit of difference there. We're talking the Masters.
The Masters.
The PGA Masters.
This is not, the Pebble Beach Pro-Am.
The Tiger Woods, Jack Nicklaus.
Yeah. Jack Nicholson is he played a joker there. So. Yeah. But the biggest golf tournament of the year, and their prize pool was $11 million. Dota 2, their prize pool broke the record at $21 million with a month to go.
Happy Gilmore 2.
Oh, my God, yes. And Blizzard on Thursday announced a new Overwatch League.
Ooh.
Now, this is interesting because Overwatch really hasn't had much of a league structure yet. The game's only been out for a little more than a year. It's insanely popular, but they haven't been able to kind of get an esports league going for it. Well, that's all about to change in a big way. Blizzard announced they have opened up a new league. It is city-based.
What?
See, when we talked to Devin Nash, the CEO of CounterLogic Games, he has a Counter-Strike team, he has an Overwatch team, he has a League of Legends team, he has a Dota team. And they're all out in their house in California. Well, now all of a sudden these guys are going to be city-based. So there is going to be a Boston team owned by Robert Kraft, who also owns the New England Patriots.
That's interesting.
There's going to be a team out in New York, and that's owned by Jeff Wilpon, the chief operating officer for the New York Mets.
Wow.
Other cities are going to L.A., Miami, San Francisco. They're all getting these teams, these Overwatch teams, and they're all owned by these huge names. It's unprecedented to have city-based esports teams.
By the way, if anybody from the Spurs organization wants to have a team, we'd be more than happy to break that news right here on Get Your Geek On.
Yeah, we'd be happy to break the news, but maybe not the price tag, because Blizzard is asking for a $20 million buy-in to get a team.
Whoa, that's crazy.
So if the Spurs want to chip in $20 million, that's only like one season of Kawhi's salary. They could certainly chip that in.
It's 2 seasons of Kawhi's salary.
Well, a season and a half. They could certainly chip in the money, but oh man, $20 million in order to get an Overwatch team. And there are 2 Asian teams as well. There's one in Shanghai and there's going to be one in Seoul. Now, I've reached out to Blizzard because I've got questions. I want to know, okay, all right, so these city-based teams, are they playing each other? Are there divisions? Are they playing the Asian teams? What's the lag going to be like if that's the case? How are we going to do this? Now, they promise that they will be able to get back to me with some type of comment, but they haven't yet. The Overwatch World Cup is going on, so they're just a little bit busy right now. But when I have answers, I'll be sure to put them on our website, which is getyourgeekon.org. If you want to read the full article that I wrote up about this, it's on getyourgeekon.org, along with a number of other articles and blog posts that we've done up there as well.
Speaking of that, you just broke the news on Thursday about PAX South coming back to San Antonio.
That's right. Actually, when we interviewed the owner of the Penny Arcade Expo, he broke the news and said, yeah, we're not going anywhere, but we didn't get specific dates at that time. Now we have dates. Now we have costs for the badges that are be for PAX South when it comes back in January, and that can all be found on getyourgeekon.org. We did break the news. I actually had it was kind of funny. I had a lot of doubters and naysayers. People were like, oh, I don't see it on their Twitter feed, so I don't think it's true. Guys, I'm in talk radio. I'm pretty sure I know what I'm talking about. And I got an email directly from PAX, so I know it's 100% legit. Don't worry about that. PAX South will be coming back to San Antonio in January. We broke the news.
Woohoo!
So go us. Alrighty, so we don't have a whole lot of time left here. I do want to remind everyone that if you want to do a little bit of shopping for yourself, you can save some money by being a Get Your Geek On listener. If you go to Ript Apparel, RIPT apparel.com, where you can buy t-shirts, you can buy hoodies, you can buy coasters, you can buy art, you can buy a whole wide variety of things.
If they can put it on a shirt, they can put it on a poster.
Absolutely, they can. And you can get 10% off by going there, do your shopping, and when you're checking out, use the code GYGO for Get Your Geek On. You get 10% off right there. That covers like tax and shipping.
Easily.
So you're getting it essentially for cost. You can also go to our new partner, geekfuel.com/getyourgeekon. Geek Fuel is basically, they're kind of similar to Loot Crate. Only now you get a free bonus item in your first box. All you have to do, there's no code to use there. Just go to geekfuel.com/getyourgeekon, and you get a free bonus item when you sign up. And that bonus item is, from what I've been told, it's pretty damn sweet. All right, so that'll pretty much wrap it up here. Man, this is, I swear, it's the fastest hour on radio. This thing goes by so fast. All right, so keep an eye on our Facebook page, facebook.com/GYGOofficial, for our Magic the Gathering giveaway courtesy of Southtown Games. I want to thank Billy for coming into the studio here with us. We'll be right back after the bottom of the hour news break on 9:30 a.m. The Answer. Alrighty, welcome back from the bottom of the hour news break. This is Get Your Geek On 9:30 a.m. The Answer Talk Radio, powered by Southtown Games on Pleasanton Road near Loop 410 on the south side of San Antonio, where your gaming family wants to welcome you. I am Dave Gramillion, and if you missed the first half of the show, we had a guest from Southtown Games on talking about Magic the Gathering, the latest changes that are coming in their latest sets. We're also going to be doing a giveaway of one of their decks, some sleeves, a box, the whole 9 yards, which you'll find out more details on our Facebook page, facebook.com/GYGOofficial. Alrighty, so I guess we don't really have anything too serious going on in here at the bottom half of the hour. There's not much.
We have a guest.
We do?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Of course we do. We have. We're going to be bringing on here in just 1 second the lovely and talented. We are honored and humbled to have with us Marina Sirtis.
I've seen your picture. Your name and lots of loving.
Marina, thank you so much for taking the time out and calling in here with us.
That is so funny that you should play that song as an intro, because my husband plays in a Steely Dan tribute band.
You are kidding.
No.
Would it be called Steely Jam by chance?
They are called Steely Jam by chance.
That was him singing.
Oh, that was him.
That was him. I like to do my homework.
Oh, my God. Oh, guys, he's going to be so chuffed when I tell him. That's so cute. Thank you.
Alrighty, so Marina Sirtis, Miss
Yes.
Deanna Troy, asking you to describe your time on Star Trek, which is 172 episodes and 4 movies.
Oh, really? Was it that? I never know the number. I mean, I know the number of the movies because I'm not, an idiot, but I couldn't remember the number of the episodes.
172. Yeah, and that goes across the entire franchise, including your cameos on Voyager.
Okay.
So asking you to describe your time on Star Trek would be nearly impossible. I'm not even going to do that. But after 30 years, this is now the 30th anniversary of Star Trek The Next Generation, is it possible to find one word that would describe that experience for you?
Perfect.
Oh.
It was perfect.
Okay, now we can elaborate a little bit. Perfect.
Right. Okay. Well, it was perfect because I worked with the best people ever in the history of show business. And I was playing a character that was a challenge because she was the opposite of me. So it was an acting challenge, which, of course, every actor wants. And I got to become part of pop culture.
What do you think the biggest challenge in playing Deanna Troy was?
Oh, totally keeping Marina out of her. Because, no, honestly, she's way sweeter than me. She's much nicer than I am. You can ask Michael Dorn that. He will corroborate. Actually, you can ask any of my cast and they will corroborate. Yeah, it was really, I'm kind of wacky and zany, and she was not any of the above. So, and I actually am not as sweet as her. I'm much more judgmental. So yeah, it was really being true to her and not cheating and going, just do what Marina would do,
No, when The Next Generation was first announced, and even through its first season, I think it's fairly safe to say that the critics and fans were not amused. They were not impressed.
No, hated us. They did. They hated us.
All of the comparisons back to, well, it's not Kirk, it's not Spock, it's not this, it's not that. And now it's pretty safe to say that Discovery is going through the same experience. It's being,
is it?
It's being just lashed by the fans and the critics. No one is really impressed. Even the trailer that's come out, no one's really amused. In fact, we actually had a segment on the show a few weeks back as to whether or not people were looking more forward to the Seth MacFarlane comedy kind of Star Trek show that was coming out. And when reading the critics and comments from the fans, are you seeing the comparison there, kind of having a flashback to 1987?
Well, to be honest, I have to tell you guys, I don't really keep up with what's happening online about anything, to be honest, so it's not just a Star Trek thing. I have a real thing about the internet, so I don't go to my computer very much. I think that if they are going through what we went through, hopefully history will repeat itself. I think basically with us, people waited until the show came out. I mean, there was a lot of grumbling beforehand. And the one question, I mean, I think we met every newspaper on the planet in the junkets that we had to do before the show started. And their number one question was, who's the new Spock? And then we would spend the next 10 minutes explaining that actually there wasn't a Spock or any variation of Spock. And, you know, you could actually make Star Trek without that character. And then when we actually came out, the fans were not impressed, and neither were, like you said, were the critics. I'm amazed that we got to go a second season. But when we did get that pickup for the second season, I think everything started to change. And then by the third season, the rest is history. We'd kind of won everyone over. And apart from some of the diehard original fans who will never like anything but the original, I think I can safely say that TNG was probably the most successful sci-fi show ever on American television.
I think we can absolutely agree with that.
Yeah.
It was, considering where it started from and where it ended, and by the time All Good Things came around, the series finale,
yeah.
I think everybody had grown, I think the fans had grown with it.
Well, now, I get asked more. I mean, people would be more excited, and I know CBS don't want to hear it, but it's actually true. When I go to meet the fans, they're more excited about, will there ever be a TNG reunion? It's like that's what they want to see. Like they brought the original cast back after 20 years to make the movies. Mm-hmm. I think the fans want that.
I know I do.
Like, see?
I mean,
and you don't have to, I'm not, I know I played at one for 7 years, but I'm not being an empath here. I'm just going on what I hear from the fans, and that is, please tell us that one day there'll be another TNG. And it's like, no, there won't.
Well, if you could say anything to the crew of the USS Discovery, the new show that is already getting so much criticism from the fans, from social media, from the print media, if you could say anything to that crew and what they're going through, what would it be?
Guys, just stick together. I mean, we were so blessed on my show. We were filming for months before we got any kind of negativity from the outside, and we were lightning in a bottle. From day one, we just bonded, and I mean, we were a Hollywood producer's nightmare. We were a cast who talked to each other. We loved each other, and to this day, 30 years later, we still do. And I can say to my friends, they said this to me, is that the truth? And my friends will say yes or no. And I will do the same for them.
Well,
they need to get together as a cast. And if they really adore each other and work for each other, that's going to come across on the screen, and that's how we won the fans over, and that's how they'll win the fans over, by the chemistry on the screen.
An on-screen family that lives together, dies together, loves together. I love it.
Exactly. We were just a unit. Like I said, every producer's worst nightmare, a cast that were a unit,
Now, in addition to Counselor Troy, you were also the voice behind Demona on the Disney show Gargoyles. And that put you behind the mic also with Jonathan Frakes and Michael Dorn and Brent Spiner and Nichelle Nichols. Kate Mulgrew was there for a while. Was it a little surreal to kind of hear your coworkers on the screen but see them as animated monsters?
Well, funnily enough, I actually don't watch myself when I'm in. I don't watch things that I voice. So I've never seen Gargoyles. More hate mail coming my way. Watch this. I'm just going to have to duck on Twitter. I'm going to have to duck on Twitter. Hate's going to start flying towards me. But what we did, which is hardly ever done when you voice stuff, when we did Gargoyles, we did it like a radio play. We were all in the room together, or as many as they could get in the room together on a Saturday morning. So it was like doing a radio play with my friends and some extra people that I got to know and love. It was so much fun. It was really a lot of fun. I actually don't enjoy really sitting behind a microphone on my own in a sound booth voicing stuff, because for me acting is reacting. You know, I like to look at the person that I'm supposed to be talking to. And so I find it quite difficult, actually, the whole voice thing without other people. So this is probably why I don't do that much of it.
Marina, this is Goose. Now, also in addition to Gargoyles, you worked with John Delancey as part of Alien Voices, and that brought together some more cast members that you previously worked with on Star Trek. What was the experience like voicing those audio dramas of classic literature? Yeah,
that's fun. That is fun, because I had a very classical training, if you like, back in England, back in the Middle Ages when I was at drama school. And so I loved, to me, that, you know, all the parts that, you know, people say to me, you know, what kind of part do you want to play? All the parts that I want to play have already been written, generally, and they tend to be, you know, the classics. So that, to me, is like really close to my heart, so I really enjoy doing that.
We're speaking to Marina Sirtis here on 9:30 a.m. The Answer on Get Your Geek On. Marina, I'm not going to go into the whole, if you could tell your past self one thing, because that's cliche, and I'm sure you've heard that a lot. However, if you could go back and watch one scene being filmed, you're just you're offset, but you're just watching it all unfold. Whether you're in this scene or not, what scene would you want to watch?
Oh, do you know what? As soon as you ask, I'm going to embarrass myself now, but it's the first scene that springs to my mind, and it's in The Child. Now, we have to have a little bit of backstory to this. So, we know in the first season, I was written out of a lot of shows. If I didn't have a lot of lines in the episode, they would write me out. If the fact that I could sense things was going to spoil the plot, they would write me out. So there I was. I've been given the honor and the privilege of, like, the first episode of the second season after a very long writer's strike. I think we've been out for 6 months. And Gene Roddenberry had actually taken me aside at Jonathan and Jeannie's wedding and told me that the first episode of second season, Marina, is a Troy episode, and it's a huge Troy episode, and we just, you know, wanted you to know after everything we went through last year. So it was really important. This is a really, like, significant, important episode. And there's one scene, and now I'm going to point it out to y'all, and y'all going to see it and laugh. When I'm approaching my child's deathbed, because it had to be very specific, because there was, you know, some special effects stuff going on, I had to be very specific about hitting my mark, and I looked down for it, and it's in there.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. And I die with humiliation and embarrassment every time I see that scene.
Now, speaking of a child, you know, the adventures of Riker and Troy continued in the Titans novel series.
Right.
And they actually have a daughter named Natasha.
Right.
In that series. So have you read any of those Titan novels or any of the Titan novels?
But again, serendipity, I was in Baltimore last weekend, and I was handed a book by Christopher Bennett called Orion's Hounds, which he wrote, which is a Titan book, and I will be reading that forthwith. So I haven't read them yet, but I'm going to start.
Well, I'm gonna definitely follow your Twitter because I want to know what your review, your 140 character review, is going to end up being.
Oh, of the book?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All right. Okay. I'm not going to be mean on Twitter. I'm mean enough. Listen, I've been blocked by Donald Trump, so I have to be. I've been blocked by him and Paul Ryan on Twitter.
Well, that's quickly becoming a badge of honor.
I know, isn't it? So I'm just, and I wasn't even that mean. I was just kind of, Marina. Anyway, so yes, I will. I still got to finish. I'll tell you now, the Brothers Karamazov before I start on this book. So it might be a couple of weeks or so.
Fair enough.
Okay.
So two things. If you haven't read it yet, Peter David also wrote a book called Anxiety. And
I did. I've read that. No, I've read that. Yeah. I have read that.
And you and Jonathan Frakes, to the best of my knowledge, are the only two who were in the first episode of Star Trek The Next Generation, 1987, and the last episode of Star Trek Enterprise in 2005.
And I'll tell you a bit of trivia as well.
Ooh, goody. I love trivia.
Jonathan and I were the very last scene stepping off the holodeck. They turned the lights off behind us.
Oh, okay. Now I'm all sad now.
I know. I got all kind of goosey when I said it out loud. Yeah. So we were there on the very first day of the reboot, Jonathan and I, and we were there at the very end as well.
Well, let's pick this up a little bit. Let's pick up the mood here because you have a number of projects coming up, including As Greek as It Gets and Fifth Passenger with Tim Russ and Armin Shimmerman.
Right.
Yeah. Can you give us kind of a sneak peek into what these films are about and which ones you're most excited for?
Well, As Greek as It Gets is a rom-com. It's not anything to do with sci-fi at all. And obviously Fifth Passenger is a sci-fi. And I play a scientist on it. So I'm doing it now, obviously, that I'm getting, into that middle-aged actress bracket, where I've been for quite a while, if I'm actually quite honest about it.
No, come on.
I love that I get to play kind of... not that I wasn't a serious woman playing, as Deanna Troi, but it's like more professional kind of kick-ass women now that I'm a bit older. And so, it's a lot of fun. And also, getting to work with your old pals. I had never worked with Tim Russ before, even though I'd done Voyager. My scenes were always with Dwight Schultz and Bob Picardo. So it was I had worked with Armin when he was a Ferengi in our very first episode, so it was lovely to work with. It's just the sci-fi world is not that big. I mean, it seems big, but it's not that big, especially our little corner of it. And it's like one of the things that I love about conventions. I was saying to Kevin Sussman from Big Bang Theory last weekend. He's kind of new to the convention thing. And I said one of the most wonderful things is that you make your convention friends, and you may not see them from convention to convention, but it's always lovely to meet up with them and catch up and spend time, and so it's a great community that we're in. It really is.
Marina Sirtis, actress, voice actress, fan of the Hotspur FC.
Oh, yes.
We do want to thank you for taking your time out to call in to us here on 9:30 a.m. The Answer on Get Your Geek On. Thank you so much for taking the time out. We are honored and humbled to have you here.
It was lovely talking to you guys, and I have to say, nice interview, man. You really did good.
What? Oh my God, that's it. I'm going to float home. I'm not even going to drive. I'm floating home. Thank you so much, man.
You're welcome. Lovely talking to you.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Marina Sirtis.
Yes, it was.
What more can you say other than she loves me? I mean, what can you say? I mean,
oh man, that was awesome.
That was so much fun.
That was fun. And she actually stayed. She was actually with us for about 22 minutes.
Yeah, we should have her on again.
I'm down with that.
Probably when we get closer to the anniversary, though. Yeah, like in September.
And she really appreciated the intro song.
And she said, "Hi, Goose."
Yes, she did.
Yes, she did.
She said, "Hi, Goose."
All right, so we promised we wouldn't geek out. We would be professional during the interview, but the interview's over. So, man, how cool was that?
That was very cool.
Oh, that was so cool.
Very cool.
Okay.
Did y'all like it? Did people out here in Facebook land, did y'all like it? Although listening to the radio, send us a message on Get Your Geek On Facebook page, the facebook.com/GYGO official. Let us know what you thought, how we did, because we want to hear from you if there's questions that we didn't ask that you would like asked for maybe the next time she comes on.
Okay, Goose, take a breath. Here we go. All right, we need to get into some Marvel news. We have a little bit. We want to talk about some Spider-Man Homecoming news. Yes,
So-
I promise we will find a way to calm down from that awesome interview from Marina Sirtis.
Okay, so here we go. Marvel
So here we go.
news,
Let's hit some
shall
Marvel
we?
news. Do it.
This is that sequel to the smash hit, no equal. This one's for the true fans with Hulk hands and action figures.
So, Marina Sirtis said I did a good interview.
And she said hi to me.
Okay, so this is brought to you by our friends over at Laser Legend. Laser Legend is on the north side of San Antonio, off of Lookout Road near I-35. Your home for a 2-floor indoor laser tag, 4,000 square foot arcade, and indoor miniature golf. That's our friends over at Laser Legend.
Home of the Photon Torpedo.
Home of the Photon Torpedo. Okay, so Spider-Man Homecoming. It hit the third largest opening weekend of 2017 so far. It brought in an estimated $117 million domestically, and this marks the second largest opening ever for a Spider-Man movie, narrowly beating out the very first Spider-Man movie in 2002, the Sam Raimi franchise.
What was the first one?
That would be Spider-Man 2.
Oh, that was a good one.
That was a good one. Without adjusting for inflation, this is the largest opening for a single character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, topping the $98.6 million brought in by Iron Man in 2008. Needless to say, the people liked it. But I love comparisons. So let's put a comparison out there. The Last Night. Oh, those Bayformers movies. Yeah, it finally hit $120 million 3 weeks after it opened. Spider-Man Homecoming did it
So
opening
I watched
weekend.
that on Independence Day because they had a 10:30 a.m. showing at one of the local theaters.
Okay.
I enjoyed it. That's not saying it was the greatest movie ever, not even the greatest Transformers movie ever, not even the greatest Bayformer movie ever, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Now, still, Beauty and the Beast reigns supreme at the box office. It had the largest opening at $174 million. Think about all the love Marvel's gotten and how people were really looking forward to the Spider-Man Homecoming. Iron Man's in it. We have Marissa Tomei as Aunt May. Tom Holland looked really good. Everyone's really excited for it. It brought in $117 million. Beauty and the Beast, $174 million. And then Guardians 2 has the second highest opening at $146.5 million domestically. So last week, Goose,
Yes.
we sat here and we made our bold predictions as far as where it would open.
Well, you made a bold prediction. I was a little bit more reserved, and Minion, who's not here, was even more reserved.
Well, I think the fact that y'all were reserved was pretty bold. It was, again, it opened up at $117 million. I guessed 105. So, yes, I was under, but by, 12 million.
So you were the Price is Right winner.
I was the Price is Right winner because, Goose, you guessed 75 million.
I did.
You were way off.
I was way off.
Like a third just off there. And Minion was even worse
He was
off.
over a half.
He was $70 million was his official estimate, and that we had to talk him up from 40.
Yeah. Oh, not quite half. He wasn't quite half.
Not quite. But still, so once again, my box office powers cannot be questioned. Thank you very much.
I'm sorry, what?
My phenomenal and cosmic box office powers cannot be questioned.
Lord.
So Marvel's New Warriors has officially been cast. Now, in case you were wondering, Marvel is still trying to put out a really good TV series other than what we see on Netflix.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is good. I enjoy Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I mean,
And it got
Humans
canceled.
looks decent.
And got canceled.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. did not get canceled. It got moved to Fridays.
Yeah, that's where TV shows go to die.
No, because it's their Sci-Fi Friday. It's ABC's version of Sci-Fi Friday.
I guarantee you it'll be gone by next year.
Shut your face.
It will be.
Shut your face.
All right, so New Warriors has been cast. We have new characters to look forward to. There's Night Thrasher, Speedball, Microbe, and Debris. At least it's Debrii, so I assume it's Debris. Jeremy Tardy will be Night Thrasher. Callum Worthy will be Speedball. Matthew Moy will be Microbe. Kate Comer will be Debris. But everybody wants to know about Squirrel Girl.
Is it Anna Kendrick?
It is not Anna Kendrick.
Aw.
And I reached out to Anna Kendrick agent to find out what happened, and I got no comment back.
She probably wanted a movie more than a series.
Probably, but this would have been a really big break because everybody's looking forward to Squirrel Girl. Everybody wants to know who is Squirrel Girl.
Not everybody.
And it's the AT&T girl.
There's nothing wrong with that.
You know, my initial reaction was really? And then I took a look at her, and then I'm like, I can see it.
My initial action was, okay.
I can totally see it. Her name is Milana Vantrup.
Only problem with that, it's going to be on Freeform.
Yeah. I mean, who's going to watch that?
Teenage girls.
Pretty much. So that is going to be our squirrel girl. And I don't quite understand all the hype and fascination other than the fact that she's a squirrel who's a girl.
She's a girl who can control squirrels.
Yeah, and somehow she beat Thanos.
We're not talking about that.
And she beat Dr. Doom.
We're not talking about that.
It's Squirrel Girl, for God's sake. I don't. Some people are saying that it's there to placate the social justice warriors. That's possible.
So it's the new parentheses social justice in parentheses warriors.
Pretty much, I suppose. I love how when we record the radio show, we do a live chat on our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/GYGOofficial, and people are still going crazy about the interview with Marina Sirtis.
Although Steven Schneider has a comment about New Warriors. This sounds nuts.
10 minutes after Marina Sirtis leaves us, and people are still talking about the interview.
Yes,
I love it.
I love it, awesome. Love it.
Okay, how much time do we have?
We have a minute.
About a minute. Okay, all right. So that pretty much covers our Marvel news. We've gone to great lengths on the show to help y'all save some money when you go shopping. When you go to rippedapparel.com, RIPTapparel.com, they have some wonderful geeky shirts.
Shirt I'm wearing came from there.
Hoodies, coasters, art, posters. There's a lot at rippedapparel.com, and we can help you save 10%. That covers the tax and probably some of shipping too. So all you have to do is you go to rippedapparel.com and you put in the code GYGO at checkout. That's it. It's an instant 10%. It's our way of saying thank you and helping to give back. You can also go to geekfuel.com/getyourgeekon. Geek Fuel is a box subscription, kind of like Loot Crate, only you will get a free bonus item when you order geekfuel.com/getyourgeekon. Alrighty, so that'll pretty much wrap it up here for Goose, for Minion, who is on location, and for myself. I want to thank our sponsors, Southtown Games, Laser Legend, and The Mailing Spot. Thank you for listening, and be sure to get your geek on every single day. Good night, everybody.